Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. No red this morning because this morning is a bit of a scramble trying to collect some documents and stuff for my wife. We are in a transition. Today is my first day as an official employee of the state of Georgia, so it's an exciting day for me. My work's going to be very similar, but I have to do stuff like, figure out my health insurance, figure out tax stuff, direct deposit, just stuff like that. So that was a mad scramble this morning, so I didn't really have time to grab Red or mental energy, I guess, to grab her. But here we are. Go write some code. We are trying to build a system, a platform. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. An application that will, let me put this right there, that will let us build like uh, 3D visualizations, and I would also like to be able to integrate a physics engine in there, and I'd also like to integrate like some sort of music visualization in there as well, because I do think animations are so much better, like literally 10 times better when they have sound associated with them. But and so, we're kind of at the beginning. I've been working on it for almost a year now, for 11 months and 3 days, and we really haven't accomplished a whole heck of a lot. I mean, it's a lot of code and we have 100% unit test coverage and Cypress. But I started off with, on the whole concept of CRUD, which is create, read, update, and delete. And so I started off working through that, and I did the create, I did the read, and then I did the delete, and then I moved over to update. And I found an issue, and the issue was that when you go to add a visualization and you close this, and then you delete, or you go to update, you see that I have um, of ID1 in the URL up there. And then so if I go back over here to here and I delete this and then I create a new one and I go to update, I have ID number 13. I had some sort of fake memory that I sort of manufactured, where I thought I had been recycling. I built out the system for recycling IDs, but I thought I was recycling IDs and I wasn't. And so I thought that that was some kind of bug. And it wasn't. It really just was incomplete code. So I started down the whole, okay, I've got to, enhance the delete to recycle the IDs. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I don't really even understand how delete works in JavaScript. And I have inadvertently created a memory leak monster. So now I've been kind of digging through, trying to going down rabbit holes trying to figure out, okay, how do I've kind of circled back to delete, and how do I um, get delete actually deleting things, not just not showing it to the user, but actually deleting things. Because what was happening before is I just wasn't like, actually right now what's happening is I just don't show it to the user. But I think that a lot of these structures still exist. Um, a lot of these objects still exist and all that. And see, and sometimes you have to worry about things, sometimes you don't. Sometimes the issues that you might need to worry about are handled by a framework or by the language itself or something like that. But the JavaScript language, I don't think was really designed, and the browser wasn't really designed to to show very deeply nested objects. And at the very least, this is represents 5 layers of objects, um, from the material to the width and the height to the mesh, the fact that it's a cube. Like there's just layers and layers and layers of objects that are all referencing each other. And that's not really when JavaScript and the browser were initially built. Like back in the 90s, it wasn't really about, it wasn't optimized in that direction. It was really optimized to show like um, a large collection of primitives. Um, so like lots of strings and numbers and things like that, but not these deeply nested objects. So it just has some stuff that, since JavaScript doesn't really take care of it and can't really, doesn't even have the sort of, doesn't know enough to know that when I delete the top level item that I want all the children level items to be deleted to. It just, there's no way it can know that. So I have to manually do that myself. Is that something we'll always have to do? Probably not. Probably at some point the browser will be updated in some crazy way that it handles all this kind of stuff for us. But for now, um, it is something that we need to worry about. Um, so, anyways, so I'm working on the delete, and I've gone down all kinds of rabbit holes, and I'm currently in a rabbit hole in that I never had thought that, oh, I need to manage the actual Angular component at the component level. That just never crossed my mind. And the reason you have to do it is because the Angular component is what owns the DOM element. That's what has possession of the DOM element. That's what has a reference to the DOM element, right? So there's a reference to the DOM element in the component, um, and ThreeJS needs to know the actual DOM element. So that means we have to manage that whole. It seems like the easiest way would be to manage the entire Angular component. And I just never really even thought of components in that fashion before, in the fashion of it being just like an object that I can sort of keep references to and delete references to and all that. So now I have this component and I need to delete it. And I can't because um, I don't have any way to reference it, right? I can't. I need something so that I can say, hey, for me, what is my component so that I can get my DOM element. Well, I don't have any way. I didn't have any way to reference a DOM element or a app Angular component. So the first step would be to, when the component gets created, for it to go get an ID, and then when the component shuts itself out, to recycle the ID. That's its job. Its job is to recycle the ID when it gets shut down. And Angular provides a bunch of hooks to allow you to do that. So like if you look at my component and in my viz component, you'll see that I have a constructor where I generate the ID, um, a component ID, and um, and then I have a destroyer that recycles the ID, a destroy hook. And so that's good because it has an ID and it get an ID, but it doesn't store that ID anywhere or do anything with that ID. So that's like the next step. And so yesterday I ended up in another rabbit hole because my services started to get sort of overwhelming, and so I sort of reorganized this. I have like sort of a mental rule that I try to start to think about when I count these anything inside of a folder, and there's more than four. Like at four, I'll start to kind of consider like, oh, how should these break out? And then by seven, I'm absolutely like, we must break this out. At five is when I'll start to actually break it out. And so right now I'll start actually, like I would actually break it out. So for services, I would actually break this out, but I don't see any reason to at the moment. Now at seven, I'm like compelled to break it out. And by 10, I have to break it out. And if I get to 12, I assume that I'm not going to be able to break it out anymore. That I have that the natural structure has cemented into a point where it's not really reasonable to break it out anymore. So that's sort of my mental model for dealing with that. So inside of here, we ended up creating a new service. And I can't remember what it is, but I do write all my services down. So a component service, which lives in an Angular folder. So in Angular, I only have one service. It's called Viz Component Service, and it's for because there is more than one component. So I needed to specifically say it out. And inside of here, I want to have a dictionary that has that has an ID as an integer as the update and a component as a um, value. Now, I did at some point create a dictionaries interface because I think we're going to end up having hundreds of different kinds of dictionaries. So I want to I want to sort of be able to define that. So if I go into my interfaces and I go to S base, you'll see that I have a dictionary. And these are my base dictionaries. And so I have a number dictionary, I have a string dictionary, I have a Boolean dictionary, and I actually have a Viz component dictionary. And I actually built that last week, so that's weird. And now I'm a little nervous because I'm like, okay, what a the version of me a week ago was working on this exact problem, and I do not remember it. Okay, so I have a visualization service that has a component of Viz. But see what happens is, and this was okay, so this kind of connects some dots for me. See, I have this dictionary, this component dictionary, and it keeps a dictionary of the Viz ID, the ST Viz ID, which I don't think that's right. Okay, so let's see how I call this. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't look like I ever call this. So it looks like I just set this up. And then I think I want to get rid of all that. And it doesn't look like I use it. It looks like I have a spec that I made for it, but I don't actually use it. So it looks like I was kind of trying to think ahead and go, okay, I'm going to need a way to keep track of these. I'm going to need a visual, or maybe I started to work on it and it made sense to put it into Viz service. Okay, so let's try to think about this from an architectural perspective. Okay, so this is very Angular specific. I think I went down the wrong path. Oh, see, and actually even the name of this, well, ST visualization ID. Yeah. So I had like sort of, and this is one of those things that I always have to think strongly about. Um, when you try to pre-build things, like think ahead and then, oh, okay, I need to build this out for the future. Many, many times you botch it. You end up, because you don't know enough. Now I understand more better. I have a more better understanding. I have a better understanding of this problem. So I thought it made sense to put it in the visualization service and because it was kind of a part of a visualization, but it's really not. It's really more of about a component. And maybe Angular needs to go into entities. That might make sense because we have our Angular entities. Um, but anyway, so I think what I need to do is just copy this out or exit out, which should cause compilation errors. Because I do still like this idea better. I think our new idea is better than our old idea. And I would say that that is a very difficult skill to acquire. The idea of being able to just abandon old good ideas that you had in the past, but they're not quite as good as what you need right now. And then before we kind of put this to bed, we'll sort of put a little bit of thought on whether this whole Angular should go into entities. I kind of think it should. Get visualizations. See this control, yeah, see this control. See what I'm doing is I'm having multiple, what's it called? Like this separation of concerns. I'm trying to do multiple concerns in this. I'm trying to manage components and which is a part of visualization. A component is part of a visualization, but really visualizations really needs its own management, not it doesn't need to be kind of a side idea of visualization. So we'll save that. I think we're done with that should have, oh no, we still have something broken. Okay. Set component by, okay, so I don't think we want that anymore. I might have really just screwed this up though. Okay, so we're importing our, basically just telling it what it's going to be saving. All right. Does this get called anywhere? Oh, no. Oh, okay. This is what calls it. Okay, so this right here, that needs to be called. Well, okay, do I have my. Okay, so the component actually knows its ID. So this should be, we should pull in our biz component service. This is hard because you kind of have to hold a bunch of things in your head at one time. Um, okay, so we want to import that. So this is the best way to import. I think I like this. Oh, wait. So this should actually straight up break the whole application. Oh man. And that's not input, it's inject. Silly rabbit. There we go. Now, and viz component service should not need an ID. Because the viz component knows its ID. But, oh, okay. And yeah, that doesn't even matter. But we do know our viz component ID because viz component knows it. So that's the actual Angular component dot. I thought it had. I thought. Oh yeah, st component ID. So it knows its own ID, and so this doesn't need to do that. This doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. So we don't want this. What we want is this. We want viz component dot. And now I kind of like never really lived this experience right here, but it sure would be nice if all the rest of these things weren't public. So then it would make this process a lot easier. Now this is going to make unit testing a lot harder because we're going to have to create a visual of component that has. My gosh, I don't understand why this is being so hard. Oh, because I'm looking at the wrong thing. Because I already have the viz component. I just need the ID. Now, did I just, I think, well, okay, so one of the, oh, okay, so we have that, we got our getter, and we actually did miss some of the things we needed the deleter too. But, okay, so we still have something broken. Let's see. Okay, so now this is what gets it. and we want to get this. And we actually want to send it the what the, okay, visualization, not the visualization. Okay, so yeah, not the ST visualization ID. Is that what we want? What does this do? Get first by visualization, let visualization. That's an ST visualization. Let's go to ST visualization, go to definition. We want this ST viz component ID, not visualization ID. That is a little bit because we don't have that component and I haven't built up that sensitivity yet. But we don't have, we were kind of looking out for that word component. Okay, so we got something else broken. Line 28. And this is setting it. I don't know if this is going to be right, but it's viz component service. And existing is an ST visualization, so we want our component. We want to send it our component ID. Wait, this sets it. Set viz component by ST visualization. Okay, so that name is messed up. And I don't even think we need this line anymore. Initialize with the component. Okay, so the problem is, okay, so this is what would tell it that there is a component ID, but the component sets up its own ID now. It doesn't need the visualization to do that anymore. It sets it up by itself. So I don't think we need that line of code. What is this one? Upsert for viz component set. Again, we don't need this anymore. I don't think. Now, wherever it's getting it, we probably need to update, or maybe it's already updated. I don't know. All right. Animation service. This is where we need to, instead of visualization service, we need the viz component service. So let's bring that in. Hope nothing breaks. Viz component service. I love being able to do this. Viz component service equals inject viz component service. And then, now that we have that, we can get the component for a given visualization. And it's getting an ST visualization. So instead of ST viz.ST visualization, we want ST viz component ID. It'll be actually shocking if this all works the first time. Yeah, so something went horribly sideways. Let's see, was there anything in the console? Now it's rebuilding. Oh, that actually always happens now that I think about it, because 13 didn't exist anymore. Silly rabbit. Of course that wasn't going to work. Holy cow. That's amazing. That is kind of a testament to the architecture. So the architecture kind of was like training wheels, kept us on the right track for getting this all right. I don't know. I need to log off because I have work, but I definitely need to kind of figure out, okay, where are we at? What's going on? Why is this working now? And what's the next step? But it seems like we're good. Happy coding, everybody. Bye. Have a wonderful day.